Hi, my name's Anthony Darkson.
And I'm Roland Slyshadow.
And together, we are the Twin Dragons.
Here, we talk about all things tabletop role-playing.
Today, I wanted to bring up a general conversation around a couple of topics on some of our thoughts, starting with, let's talk about game systems. What I'd love to know is, what's your top game system? What game system do you prefer to run?
Well, preferred, I'm not going to say my favorite, because I love many. I would say my preferred game system would more than likely be, I think, Call of Cthulhu. Currently, it changes, everyone's opinions changes over time. So currently I'm in Call of Cthulhu. The thing I like about it is I like the horror aspect. I truly love the mysteries and maybe the whodunits of it, unlocking the dark depths of the mythos. So it's very, very exciting for me every time I run a Call of Cthulhu game.
That's awesome. I am definitely a fan of Cthulhu as well for the dark mythos of it, the horror. I think for me, it would have to be still Dungeons and Dragons.
Mainstream. My bad.
Yeah. Okay. It's classic. It's what I love about it so much is that it's so versatile. Like, you think about, different kinds of systems are specific to one type of environment, right? Call of Cthulhu, you're in that specific time era, right? Usually it's that, 1920s to 40s, right? But when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons, like, there are so many different realms that can lean into different types of themes. When you think about like, I want Dungeons and Dragons, but I wish it was a little bit more high tech. Well, there's a realm for that. You have Eberron, you have Ravnica, right? Like, there's worlds that can meet that type of world building, right? You have Faerun, which is just that general fantasy theme, right? You have Kryn, which is more of that medieval with wars and things like that, right? So, like, there's so much diversity and so many things that you can explore and experience. I think Dungeons & Dragons just offers so much in that.
What my friend forgets is that in Call of Cthulhu, we also have Cthulhu Invictus, which is Roman era and time of Call of Cthulhu. We also have Cthulhu by Gaslight, right? We have Cthulhu, which is the World War II era of Cthulhu. So, right. As well, we have like modern Cthulhu, just like Delta Green. So, let's say that Call of Cthulhu is also varied and diverse in its time frames. Yes, it does take place on Earth, but it's an alternate Earth throughout the various timelines of Earth.
Fair enough. But I still think Dungeons & Dragons in all the realms within Dungeons & Dragons still offers a little bit more variety to really kind of let you kind of delve into whatever you want to play, right? I think also when it comes to Dungeons & Dragons, it's it's the most widely known. It's the most widely played, right? So you're always going to find someone who's ready to start rolling dice, especially if you're looking for a new group. It's a lot easier to find it in your different, across the U.S., where you may not find more niche groups for things like Call of Cthulhu or Star Wars or Star Trek. You're not going to find it as abundant across the U.S. as Dungeons & Dragons. So I just think it's just more widely known. It's easier to find players, and there's just so much you can do.
That being said, for all our friends around the world outside of the United States, Call of Cthulhu is actually number one.
Really?
Yes, it is.
I did not know that.
It is.
Where's your sources? I'm going to challenge that source.
It's true. It's true. Outside of the United States, Call of Cthulhu is actually number one.
All right. You're going to have to show me where you're citing these sources of yours. But yeah, I think, and then maybe I guess lastly, Dungeons & Dragons is something I grew up with, right? It's always something that's going to be close to my heart. Sure, I still love other game systems. Like, I like Call of Cthulhu. I love Cyberpunk. Like, I'm big into Cyberpunk right now as well. But if I was ever gonna be asked, like, hey, what's that one system that you're the most infatuated with? It's still gonna be Dungeons and Dragons.
And of course, most people cut their teeth on Dungeons and Dragons at first. But it's a wide universe of games out there. Always go out and explore new things.
So, talking about different types of game systems, let's kind of talk about, well, one of the differences between these game systems is experience-based versus skill-based. Thinking about progression, like how a character progresses. So, where do you land on? Like, what's your preferred based of progression type of system?
Well, it's not just the progression, but it's the mechanics within the system. So, skill-based is, I actually do prefer, due to the fact that it allows for a wide variety of different actions to be taken and to be rolled on, right? Where Dungeons and Dragons usually just has a small list of skills, which you, if you're going to do anything outside of combat, this is the smallest you do. Where in other skill-based systems, some examples, Call of Cthulhu, as we mentioned before, as well as Cyberpunk is a skill-based system. You have a wide variety of things. So anything you can imagine doing, for the most part, throughout your campaign, not just in combat, outside of combat as well, you have skills that you could roll and actually attempt to do these things. So I prefer a skill-based system due to its more variety than just a basic level-based system like Dungeons and Dragons.
I agree. Skill-based systems have a lot of advantages. Something that I like about experience-based systems is the use and mechanic of using it as a reward, right? Think about like how you reward a player for being able to, take down an encounter, either be a trap or, a combat situation, and, you take down these monsters, and then you're like, after they've taken down this group of bad guys, now it's like, hey, it's not just, oh, you got a couple of gold pieces and some items, but you also provide experience as a reward to that. And nothing is more exciting when you divvy out that experience and everyone's like, oh, I leveled up. And you get that excitement to want to just start leveling up your characters. So I like experience-based systems because it can be utilized as a reward system as well.
Sure. And even though other systems with skill-based systems do have rewards and they do divvy out points as well as points that can be earned through doing the things, one of the things I like about experience-based systems is as you use the skills, you get better at the skills, right? Like Call of Cthulhu being an example, you have to use the skill to be able to have a chance to improve the skill versus, hey, I leveled up my barbarian and I learned more things about being a barbarian, but I don't break outside that box. I'm stuck in that box. I'm stuck on that ladder of progression, which in that level-based system, yes, you can multi-class, but you're just adding another ladder, which you're just going up that ladder as well. Where in a skill-based system, you can not be good at something, let's say like lock-picking to start, and you're going to try, and you're going to get better as you try. You may even spend time to study, which is a mechanic in the game as well, to study, to take time to try to learn that skill. And then you use it more. And then you actually have more chances to progress and get better at it. So that creates a more wide variety of expansion through increasing the diverse toolbox that your characters actually have.
Yeah. I like skill-based systems as well. It offers a lot of versatility, right? Sure. It offers, a variety of progression where you're not stuck in a certain progression. So I think they both have their uses and places.
Yeah, and I'll say that the one thing that a level-based system does give you is more endorphin hit. Every time you gain a level, there's a smash of endorphins right there, so everyone gets excited.
Yeah.
So I get that.
So another topic I wanted to broach, talking about, the forever DM. Like, sometimes there's DMs out there who never get to play as a player, and they're always running the games for their friends or campaigns. Some people are okay with it, and some people not great with that. They wish somebody else would take up the mantle once in a while. What's your view on Forever DM? Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, it really depends on the person. Some people just get the most enjoyment out of being a game master for various people in various systems. That's their enjoyment, and they don't have any desire to be a player. But then you have some game masters who like they want to see what it looks like on the other side of the table. So there's not too much of an opinion on it, other than some things I can say to the game masters that want to be players that just never get the opportunity. Some of the things they can do that I would recommend for them to do is go outside their normal group. Right? You can still keep your normal group that you're going to game master, but go outside that normal group. Look for another group. Look at various online forums as well, places that you can, your local game stores that will actually, you can try to find a sign up where you can jump in a game with somebody else being a game master. Now, if you're trying to stay within your party because you just feel more comfortable with the people you know, try to show more how excited you are when you're being a game master, right? And how much you enjoy it, right? And the more you do that, and the more you spark the curiosity of your players on, what's it like to be a game master, expound upon it a little bit, as you play, or at the end of your game sessions, or at the end of an adventure, talk about like, what it took to build it and all that stuff to try to inspire your players. And maybe your players might be like, oh man, that's so cool. Maybe I think I might do a game system, right? Or, I might pick up the mantle of Dungeon Master or Game Master. So I think that's one thing you can do. Or you could just put an ultimatum to your players and like, hey, I need a break. One of y'all better pick this up. One of the something. So,
well, you didn't answer my question though.
What
do you prefer? Like, do you foresee yourself as that forever DM, or do you like taking a break once in a while?
I like taking a break once in a while. Sometimes you need breaks. This is just a good general game master advice. You should always take breaks to recharge your batteries, right? Burnout's a real thing, which we'll probably do an episode eventually on just burnout, which can be a lot to talk about that. But yeah, me personally, I do prefer. I enjoy game mastering, but I do like once in a while not having to think about stuff and just play and just roll dice.
You mentioned just a little bit earlier about like, getting players excited to wanting to DM, and then I can just foresee they start to work on it and they start the preparation and they start realizing, man, this is more work than I wanted to do.
Then they will start to appreciate the hard work that you do.
They will start to appreciate your work that you put into it. So for sure, right? I think that everyone, even forever players, I think should definitely take up the mantle at least once, because you gain a lot of insight and appreciation.
And you don't have to do it for a whole campaign, Just doing it one shot, giving your game master a break would be nice, players. Wink, wink.
No, as far as myself, I'm a mix. I like both. I like to DM. I like to take the reins and control and really... I like the world building of it. Like, I love creating a new world. Most campaigns I've run are homebrew. I haven't run many preset modules or preset campaigns. It's mostly been homebrew because I just enjoy world building and creating experiences for players and getting to enjoy all that. But I do like to be a player because I like to be able to just not stress out, worry. I can just like have fun at a table and not like have to think about multiple things that are happening at one time, and I got to start arranging and preparing, an encounter that's coming up next while still trying to pay attention to the players while they're trying to disarm a trap, and you're just like having to brain navigate all that. I like to not have to deal with that all the time. So I'm 50-50 on it. I do enjoy both aspects, and I would never allow myself to be a forever DM. It would just be burnout. It would be too much, but I enjoy it when I do it. And so
cool. That being said, let's move on to another topic. memorable moments. You did talk about some of the things you just loved as being a player. Let's talk about some of the, and also some of the things you loved about being a game master. Let's talk about memorable moments. Let me know your memorable moments from both being a game master and from being a player. So it's two different views of a memorable moment.
I have to think about that for a minute. Let's start with as a player. I am going to do my best to describe the scene. But my most memorable moment was during a Cyberpunk campaign.
I remember this one.
And it was the end. We were just at the tail end of the campaign. And what happened was that our group got splintered to going into two different paths. One path was a corpo who was in it for themselves and the money, while the other half of the group was trying to do it for the betterment and trying to save people. And it ended up turning into a car chase scene where we're like battling our own players, because all of a sudden we've worked so hard together, all of a sudden now we're split and now we're fighting each other in this epic car battle. And and then at the end of it all, I believe it was the players who were trying to save people. We eventually won, but just to have the tables turned, how all of a sudden we were now split into different factions and we were against each other just at the bitter end. Now, I don't recommend that in the middle of a campaign, but for an end of a campaign where you're at the tail end and that's the finale and it's all out, and it was just such a memorable scene that things ended up happening that way. I won't forget that car scene and the chase and just the feeling of betrayal against your own players because they decided to go the corpo route. Damn corpos. But yeah, that was I think that's one of my most memorable player moments still to date.
Side note, another game master advice: don't reserve it for more experienced groups that really well know each other before you attempt a player versus player, due to that it could cause tensions for non-experienced groups or groups that don't know each other very well. That's just a caution.
Nice little tip. Pause.
But continue on.
Man, as far as a DM, some memorable moment. Geez, that's a tough one. There's a lot of great moments while I was DMing, and it's hard to choose because you're just navigating so many things. You just don't stop to think, wow, that was a great moment. I'm still thinking about the next thing to do, I'll probably pause. I'm going to ask you the question and then come back to me as I'm thinking through that one.
See, I'm going to have the opposite problem. As a almost forever game master, I have less memorable moments as a player, more as a game master. So I'll say my game master one first. I think my most memorable moment as a game master, I'm going to try not to put any spoilers for any specific pre-med modules, but my group was near the end of this adventure. They all became evil due to a curse. Now, that being said, they all knew they were cursed. They knew that they were technically evil on the inside, but they decided to continue with the campaign. They just made some bad choices, which caused them to be cursed. And one of the bad choices in the end was that part of the story was that they had to talk to a spirit of a silver dragon. Now, unfortunately, one of the abilities that one of my players got was a true resurrection, which allowed them to resurrect anybody or anything, doesn't matter how long they've been dead for. So they decided to resurrect the silver dragon on me. And I was flabbergasted, and I'm like, oh, I forgot you had that ability. Well, I guess you just brought this silver dragon back to life. And I literally had to take a 2-second break to think about what the heck is going to happen next. And then I made that decision. I'm like, you know what? The silver dragon, after you resurrected it, obviously sensed you're evil and attacks you. That's the best I could do. So, memorable moments like that, where your players like to throw the wrench into your well-laid plans and likes to throw those curveballs and makes you really think on your feet. Those are probably my most memorable moments as a game master.
I remember that moment, and I remember the look of your brain breaking in that moment where your world stalled, and you had that look of, what the heck are you guys doing? That was definitely that was an interesting moment to see you having to overcome and come up with, in the moment, a next step in progressing in this pathway. Because you could have said no. You could have figured out a way of saying, no, this is not going to work. You said yes, but, and then you allowed that to happen, and you was able to kind of finish that off. So I remember that was a good one, man.
And a little side note advice: the yes but is always a strong tool to use. Don't always say no to your players. Say yes, but there's always consequences to your actions. Now back to you for game master moments.
Man. So for me, one memorable moment was at the end of one of my homebrew campaigns. The players had just fought off Vecna, a very well-known lich god in the world of D&D, and they went to Sigil to celebrate. And what a lot of the players kind of knew and did not know is that one of the players had both the hand and eye of Vecna. And at the very end of the campaign, where everyone was celebrating and it felt like everything was wrapping up, where they thought they had defeated Vecna, because the player one of the players still had a very powerful hand and eye of Vecna, I utilized that as a tool where Vecna burst from that player, from the eye and the hand, forming into Vecna in the city of Sigil, which, if anybody is familiar with the lore of Sigil and the Lady of Pain and Vecna, Vecna's main goal has always been to take control of that city. And I ended the campaign right there as I had Vecna burst forth, and the players are like, what? And then I ended the campaign right there. It was a to be continued, but it was an end of a campaign where the players were like, what just happened? So I think that was one of my more memorable DM moments, just that look of shock on the players to end in a note that's just floored them and left them hanging in suspense. So, have you thought about you as far as a player? Any moment that you can remember? No.
The curse of the forever game master. I really, it's hard. I can't. Remember, this is like 30 years of experience playing tabletop games, so it's hard to dig too far into the past and try to remember when I was a player. No, I can't. I really can't. It's so far and few between. It's hard to remember all them all. So.
Well, next, I'll be DMing our next campaign that we're doing together. So I will make sure to try to create some memorable moments for this guy.
Yay! I get to be a player, and I'll have memorable moments for you. I promise we'll do a follow-up video, and I will let you guys know about moments as a player. Thanks.
And then now they're gonna hold me too. If I don't create a memorable moment for you, they're gonna be like, well, come on, man, step up as a DM.
We'll see about that.
Yeah.
Let us know about some of the memorable moments that you've had in your either game master life or as a player, as well as let us know about some of the thoughts that you have when it comes to skill-based system versus level-based system games. Make those comments down below.
If you liked our video, make sure to hit that thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button, as we have more content to come. Until then, see you next time.
Well done, everybody. That was an excellent campaign. Congratulations on defeating the big bad guy, and such an epic ending. So, who's going to run the next one? Anybody? Oh, it's going to be a great time. Oh, you're going to have so much planning you have to do, so much time spent actually prepping. You guys, oh, come on. You get to go against everybody else with monsters. It'll be fun. You're going to... Everybody? Where's everybody going? Anybody?